So obviously last time things could have gone better. Hello everyone, welcome back to probably the last episode with Liverpool of Careering Onwards, here with me, Mr. Grand 2, and yeah, I mean, could have gone a lot better, couldn't it? Could have gone worse, but it could have gone a lot better. Obviously last time out, if you didn't watch it, we beat Arsenal, we then drew with Tottenham, and it then meant that we finished in 4th place in the Premier League. We got the top goal scorer and top assist provider. Mohamed Salah is 34 years old, and yet you would think he's still a teenager with how productive he is being in front of goal. But it wasn't enough, really. We were looking, well, for a time anyway, so good to maybe this would be the year that Liverpool would win the Premier League, that we would win it with them. And I mean, then most of the season it just looked like we were going to miss out because we just couldn't capitalise on Manchester City's failings, and then towards the end we just fully, utterly collapsed. Even still, we only finished 5 points behind them, and we were 1 point behind Man United and Spurs. It was so close throughout the entire time. But the big thing is that we only have a U, E and L next to our club name, because we have not qualified for the Champions League despite finishing 4th. I assume something to do with the coefficients that's gone on. Or something like that, I don't know. Basically, the reason we haven't qualified is because there is a team from England in the Europa League final, and that team is 12th placed Aston Villa. So we have to rely on them failing to beat Napoli in the Europa League final, which they've got coming up in a few days' time. If they can lose that one, then we will safely qualify for the Champions League. But in any case, the board are probably not going to be happy with us. We've got ourselves an E rating. It's not E for exceeds expectations or excellent. It's E for really, really bad. And quite simply, the reason why we are in that position is because they're very disappointed we don't have the best youth system in the country. That's not really my problem, is it? You're in charge of that one. I mean, honestly. But we also are in the unfortunate position of that we failed to win the Premier League, which was required of us by them. We also failed to grow the club's reputation, but I think that's particularly fair, if I'm honest. But anyway, we have got 2 chances to potentially rectify this today, because of course we have got the FA Cup final first of all against Tottenham, and then the Champions League final against Real Madrid. Even though we didn't win the Premier League, as long as we qualify for the Champions League either by winning the Champions League itself or by Aston Villa not winning the Europa League, then we'll be in the Champions League next season, and hopefully we'll be given a stay of execution. And I think if we win the Champions League especially, they will probably give us another year. Fingers crossed. Anyway, if not, let's just have a look at the old job security type things. No jobs available apart from Ireland, but there's 2 jobs in particular that are certainly interesting if things go south here on Merseyside. Atletico Madrid, Diego Simeone is precarious after finishing 2nd in La Liga, presumably a similar situation to us. There's us, insecure, not very good. But also, the one I've got my eye on, Thomas Tuchel at PSG, is insecure because PSG have failed to win League for, gotta be the first time in the save. It is the first time in the save. They have lost quite massively to Monaco. Monaco have finished 13 points clear of them, and there's still a game to go. Pretty ridiculous that that's happened. I mean, I have a soft spot for Monaco. That was my first proper series on the channel, was with them, so well done to them. But yeah, very, very interesting how PSG have sort of fallen away there, and could be a vacancy coming up if Tuchel is dispensed with. They've still got Mbappe, of course. Other players have gone, but maybe they haven't spent the money particularly wisely. So we'll keep an eye on that. But let's just see what's going to happen. First of all, FA Cup, which we won last year. Can we retain our title against Spurs? And then, of course, Real Madrid in potentially an extremely decisive and important Champions League final. It's our first Champions League final. We want to win it anyway, irregardless of Liverpool. I'm happy if I win the Champions League and I get sacked. Well, fair enough. It's been such a weird season, really, because we were so close for so long, and then we kept on failing to capitalise on slip-ups from City, and then our away form towards the end of the season was a disaster. Completely fell away in terms of being able to overhaul City, really. But still, some of the performances, some of the average ratings, some of the amount of goals we've scored, really, really encouraging. I just feel we've got quite a young team for the most part, apart from obviously Salah and Van Dijk, who are still here, and Trent Alexander-Arnold is sort of in his prime. So I just feel we're really close. We're so close, and with a bit of extra luck, we could have done it. But, well, you can't win them all. Well, hello, okay. On the verge of the sack, apparently. That's what we are. Liverpool board finally losing patience with us because of the crime of finishing second and then finishing 1 point off second. I mean, thanks very much. BBC Radio Merseyside declaring that a bad result against Tottenham in the FA Cup final could seal his fate. I mean, don't sack me before the Champions League final. What, are you going to get Mark Venus to take charge of the team for that one? That's not really very, very realistic prospect, is it? I mean, that's the kind of attitude we like to see from Jordan Richard there. Can't we? I mean, we are the holders of the FA Cup. Of course we are. We've won the FA Cup. We won the League Cup this season. We won the Community Shield as well. 3 trophies in 2 seasons with Liverpool already. Potentially, we could make it 5 by the end of this episode. So we haven't won the Premier League. Fine. Fair enough. But we've done really well. I mean, Marcelo Gallardo, Spurs manager, considers me to be overrated. I've won the World Cup, mate. What have you done? What's your biggest achievement so far? Well, he has actually won a few trophies to give him his due. I mean, some Copa Libertadores, Copa Argentina, and he won the Europa League with Spurs as well last season. So, fair enough, but he's not won the World Cup, has he? Right then, first act of this potential curtain call in charge of Liverpool Spurs in the FA Cup final. Obviously, not the scene, we're at Wembley, but the team who were responsible for our slightly lacklustre end to the season and failure to secure automatic qualification for the group stages potentially of the Champions League, or indeed the Champions League at all, because we'll end up in the Europa League if things don't go our way. But we're going to give the same players the chance to impress in this one. Obviously, Rafinha is the big miss. He's really arguably been player of the season for us, except maybe Mohamed Salah, and he is going to be missing both games today. Very disappointing for him to miss out. So really the only question is whether we keep Jamal Lewis or whether we give a chance to young Mick Hogan, only 18 years old, of course, still just 9 pace, which is pretty shocking. But otherwise, he's really good, isn't he? He is really good. I mean, I'm not quite as fully rounded and developed as Jamal Lewis. I'm going to go with Jamal Lewis for this one. If he mucks up, then maybe we'll play Hogan in the Champions League final, give him a full-on Ryan Bertrand treatment. But anyway, Alisson's in goal then. Jamal Lewis, Pierre Faucher, Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold, De Jong, Salvador, Paqueta, Salah, Vujovic and Colin Nicholson up top. Let's win the FA Cup once again, get another piece of silverware and show the Liverpool board why they'd be foolish to sack us just because we couldn't beat a virtually invincible Man City. However much we did kind of choke. I mean, Spurs, this was the guy, Thompson, he scored against us. Russell Thompson, he scored the goal that equalised for them in the previous episode, of course. Their team's really good. They've got so many good players. Harry Kane is 33 years young, still as deadly as ever in front of goal. It's going to be difficult, as we've just seen. We just failed to beat them, but we are the holders. We are so good in cups, even if we aren't good away from home in the league. Let's just go out there and win the trophy. Why not? Let's prove the critics that are baying for my blood, prove them wrong. Of course, the main critic is the board. Anyway, free kick early on, which Virgil van Dijk nearly scores. Potential early chance for our 2 most experienced boys there. We're not done yet. Trent across, it's cleared, and we're working it nicely with some good early pressure from us. Trent Alexander-Arnold again to Vujovic, who slams it home. He does not want to see the man who brought him to England for massive money, 90 million. He does not want to see that man be sacked. He's just won Young Player of the Year, of course, for the 2nd year running. He is determined to keep me here, and he's given us the lead in this one. Corner in from Salah. Vujovic is there. He's so determined. 2nd of the game for him. 19th of the season for the German, who kind of fell off the rails a little bit towards the end. Kept missing gilt-edged chances. He does sometimes do that anyway, but he's not missing today. Seen absolutely nothing from Spurs in this one. Vujovic in again on a hat-trick. Can he seal his hat-trick before the break? He can't. Nathan Ake back to block it. And at half-time, we are fully in control of this one. 2-0, looking very good indeed. It's the Marko Vujovic show. He's running proceedings here at Wembley. And Lucas Paqueta, who has been one of the other stars of the season, is injured, and he's probably going to be missing the Champions League final, you would think, with that Bentancur on, who's been a pretty big disappointment in the second half of the season. Hopefully it won't matter today. Salah with a ridiculous free kick, which nearly catches out Strakosa in the Spurs goal. They get away with it. All us so far, still all us. Bentancur heading over. Time is absolutely disappearing in this half, and for once, for the first time in a while, it really feels like that we actually are glad that that's happening. Richard's going to come on for Salah because I don't want him to miss out on the Champions League final. Lewis with the ball across Nicholson, wide of the post. One more change to make. Time is going away here, which is great to see. I'm going to take off Vujovic. He is on a hat-trick, but I don't want either him or Salah to miss the Champions League final. Vignato can come on for the final few moments. I hope they're the final few moments. Thompson, the enemy from last time, gives the ball away though. Richard with a hopeless ball forwards. Not quite sure what the point of that was. And Verdú is in. He's hit the post. Alisson caught napping, but we managed to get away with it. And that is going to be the final act from either side, or maybe not. There's another chance for Spurs. We're over the allotted time, and they've nearly scored, but he's offside, and that should be that. We played nearly 2 minutes more than we should have done. I'm not sure why the game is still going, and there we go. It's all over. The referee finally remembers how to keep track of his watch. Tottenham 0, Liverpool 2. We've won the FA Cup once again, second year in a row. Our fourth trophy at Liverpool. Excellent stuff. 2 FA Cups, a League Cup and the Community Shield, of course. This one, well, really felt like the most sort of important one. Hopefully will be enough to get the board off our backs. Maybe, fingers crossed, the Champions League is going to be more likely to do that. That's going to be the biggest match of the save so far from a club perspective. We were in a World Cup final, of course, but yeah, that's definitely a great way to start things off. At the very least, we will be leaving Liverpool, even if we're sacked, we'll be leaving them with 3 trophies in a season, that's pretty good. I mean, there you go, like famous treble, famous treble. Did they sack Gerard Houllier when he won the Europa League, the FA Cup and the League Cup? No, they did not. So why are they going to sack us? Paqueta is only out for 3 days. That is a big relief. He'll be here for the final of the Champions League. So will Jamal Lewis. That is a relief indeed. That really is. Medals for the FA Cup win. Robbie Fowler, who has been absolutely slagging me off for weeks, praises my spirit. Well, thanks, Robbie. You've not got a job, have you? You're manager of Australia. Okay, well, you stay out there, and you're not welcome back on Merseyside with your negative comments. Thank you very much. The board are pleased with the FA Cup win. That's good. We'll check out the manager rating in a minute. Vujovic, great stuff from him. How are the board feeling about this all now? What's my manager rating? Still an E. So they're not that pleased that we won the FA Cup. Not that pleased. Still insecure. Right then, everybody nice and going to be rested up for the Champions League final. Hopefully no stupid injuries in the meantime. I mean, the valuation of these boys, obviously Rafinha should be in there. He's 44 million, but and obviously Salah and Van Dijk, because they're quite old, their values are quite low. But everybody else, the absolute value in this squad, 64 million, 63 million, 70 million, 77 million, 82 million for Vujovic as well. But I mean, we've got a brilliant set of players here, and it'd be a shame for us not to be able to have another go at winning the Premier League with them. Okay, this is it. 2 days away. The pressure is absolutely ratcheting up for this one, and well, we've qualified for the Champions League, so I'm assuming the Europa League must have happened. I think it was today, and they've obviously, Aston Villa have lost it. The budget is 110 million, which would be nice if we get to spend it. Are they still an E? Still an E. So right, well, at least we're in the Champions League next season if we are not sacked. Holders Napoli, goodness me, on penalty shootout, Napoli beat Aston Villa, who finished in 12th place in the Premier League, to deny them a Champions League spot. The villains, Rayan Cherki, who's in our France squad for the upcoming Nations League, missed his penalty, as well as Andre Anderson. No Europa League glory for Eric Dyer and Harry Maguire. Bad luck, Aston Villa, but thank you very much indeed, Napoli. You have potentially saved our bacon. Is that going to be enough? Are the board going to be like, yeah, you're fine. They're still not happy. Still an E. They're still very disappointed with with the fact we didn't win the league. Let's try and beat Real Madrid here. Let's try and win the Champions League, and then we can that should hopefully be enough to persuade them to just calm down a bit. Right, let's have another team meeting before this one. It helped for the FA Cup. Can it help with this one? We're expected to win this final. I mean, are we against Real Madrid? We'll try it. We'll go for it. We're not. We're not fully. Foucher doesn't like it. Neither does Mick Hogan or Miguel Salvador. Most of them like it, though. Most of them are fine with it, so we'll just pretend that didn't happen. The match will, of course, be played at Real Madrid's Santiago Bernabeu. How are you preparing for that? Well, I'm going to file a claim with UEFA for some sort of fixing issue. That's not on, really, is it? I mean, Chelsea did have to win their Champions League at the Allianz Arena against Bayern Munich, didn't they? So maybe it's not all bad. But I'm just saying it suits us down to the ground. Pretend I don't care. Well, I'm not bothered at all. It was a while ago, but Liverpool suffered a defeat last time they played Real Madrid. It wasn't that long ago. It was last season. They knocked us out of the Champions League in the quarter-final. I'm not bothered. Literally not bothered. All right, then. This is it. This is very big. Very big. Our first Champions League final in this save. Obviously had a few in the Chelsea save, but except the season where they finished 5th. That was in season 4, which was in one of the sort of bonus videos. It kind of never has really been as important as this one. We are fully fit. We are fully raring to go, except of course for Rafinha, who is going to be missing out for this one, which is a bit unfortunate. We can at least have a sizable bench for this one. And so there's going to be no change to the team that just won the FA Cup against Spurs. Can they do it again? We've played so many matches this season. It is absolutely ridiculous. Obviously, we didn't have any sort of Club World Cup, but this is our 64th game this season. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. But these guys, whatever happens, wherever we get sacked after this, who knows? They've been absolute heroes. Let's just run through the team now in case the board want to have a little chat afterwards. But I mean, this season in particular has been. I don't think it's been necessarily as good as last season in some ways, but it has been still exceptionally good, and probably better in others. Mohamed Salah, 19 goals, 20 assists is nuts. 19 goals for Vujovic, 10 assists, 19 goals for Nicholson, which is actually, he's really improved towards the end of the season, a lot better than he had been doing. I wish he'd scored more, really, given how good he is, but that's still a pretty good goal return. 11 goals and 10 assists for Paqueta as well is sensational. 8 assists from Trent Alexander-Arnold too. Average rating wise, well, it's Mohamed Salah again. He's unstoppable. He's 34, and you wouldn't know it. It's all Rafinha and Vujovic up there as well. It's been a brilliant season for these boys. It really, really has. We'll see the awards, of course, at the end of this game. But yeah, we've got such a good squad here, and it'd be a shame not to be able to try again, as I said. But so the team is unchanged. You know what the team is. It is the team that's been leading the way pretty much all season. Obviously, Salvador is coming for Bentancur, who's kind of fallen a little bit out of favour, and obviously Rafinha is missing out, but otherwise it is the team that has done overall really well this season, apart from in a few away games that cost us the Premier League. But it's Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu. It's essentially an away game, but we do apparently have the home dressing room, so that's quite funny, and let's see what we can do. Is it going to be another famous European night for Liverpool? Of course. Still no Premier League title in this save, but I mean, a chance for another Champions League trophy to add to the one they won under Jurgen Klopp. They haven't won the league. They haven't won the Champions League since then, I don't think, have they? No, not during the save. So this would be another one to add to the real life collection. Real Madrid are good though, obviously very good indeed. They've got in goal Victor Guillermo. He's quite horrifying really with how good he is, Brazilian between the sticks. The defence is Hernandez, Barro, Saliba and Militao. We know all about William Saliba, of course, a key part of our French national side. They've got Dani Olmo. Gomez on the left-hand side. I nearly signed him last summer rather than Richard. He's pretty good, isn't he? He's very good. Indeed, Chiesa on the right. Vasquez up top is, again, an explosive striker. He's English. Antonio Jesus Vasquez, who has... He came... What? What? Antonio Jesus Vasquez, an English striker at Real Madrid, who came through the youth intake of York City in the National League. How on earth does that happen? Signed by Bournemouth very swiftly afterwards, played quite a bit for Bournemouth, scored plenty of goals for Bournemouth. He's gone to Real Madrid, and how has he come through at York City? We're getting off the topic here. That's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Has he played for England? Has he been capped? He's been capped by England. Okay, absolutely baffling. Anyway, right. Well, Vasquez, former York City player, former Bournemouth player as well, leading the line in the Champions League final for Real Madrid. Well, I expect nothing but a win from this. Not revenge. We're going to go out there and win. They're not bothered by that, but they are bothered by the old faithful. I have faith in you. Let's see what we can do. First highlight, Real Madrid, it's Vasquez, and Alisson is equal to the former York City striker, and we can counter from that as well. Vujovic, the star of the FA Cup final, exchanges passes with Nicholson and Salvador, and then Nicholson, how on earth, I was praising him a minute ago, how has he missed that? That was glorious. What a miss from Colin Nicholson, and Real Madrid had the chance to take the lead here. Ramos driving through, Alisson again is equal to it. Oh, that was a horrific miss from Nicholson. I can't believe it. Anyway, Lewis down to De Jong, Mohamed Salah to Paqueta, and Lucas Paqueta squeezes it in to the near post. We thought he was going to miss the final. His injury was not in any way severe. Obviously it was too much of a bruise for him to continue in an FA Cup final. But I mean, if he's going to be able to do this, that is fine by me. Lovely side-footed finish from the Brazilian, who has had a vintage year, and we've got the lead. Have we scored too early though? Chiesa to Gomez, loads of room for him. Alisson again equal to the pretty weak effort. Vujovic immediately gets the ball from him and manages to get away from Theo Hernandez. We're working it through the midfield. De Jong flicks the ball in. Militao back to their goalkeeper. That was a very weird key highlight. Madrid though coming forwards once again. They're looking pretty ominous here. Kamara has been blocked and it's gone back towards their defence, but they're just going up the right hand side now. Chiesa, a lot of pressure on him, but Militao's got loads of room, and Jamal Lewis, I thought had given away a penalty there. It's not a penalty, but we have given the ball straight back. Dodgy efforts from Nicholson again. Militao's in again, and again the weak effort from them. The pressure's building from them. They've had way more opportunities than we have, and we are the only goal scorers though. Saliba has managed to get that one away. Looked a little bit dodgy, but Madrid looking ominous with how many things they're doing here. Vujovic wins it back though and can counter at speed. Marco Vujovic puts it across, and Colin Nicholson does not miss this time. His 20th goal of the season, the most important goal of his career so far. What a career it's been. He's still only very young. We've got to give him some credit really, and cut him some slack. I mean, lovely finish from him this time, and he scores, well, a fantastic and vital goal before the break. We have been under pressure, but we go in 2-0 to the good. Keep it up. We are losing the possession battle. We're losing the chance creation battle, but we are winning the game by 2-0, and they're racking up the yellow cards as well. But so far, nothing to show for it. And the second half is just disappearing. No sign of a fight back from them at the moment. Trent Alexander-Arnold to Marco Vujovic looking for a third. It's bounced down to Mohamed Salah. Goodness me, so close, scraping the top of the bar. He deserves a goal in this final because of how well he has done for us in the 2 years we've been here. There's 10 minutes left. I've not made any changes yet. Salvador dancing through. Vujovic on a yellow card as is customary. Trent Alexander-Arnold has it back to Vujovic. Can he find a ball in? He does, to Miguel Salvador, and Miguel Salvador fires home. 2 of our regens on the score sheet, the 3rd of the season for Salvador, who has broken his way into the first team, and he's been excellent wherever he's been asked to play in the midfield 3. What a strike that is. It's Liverpool 3, it's Real Madrid 0. This one, I'm going to call it now. It's done. It is absolutely well and truly done. Goodness me, are we going to do it? Are we going to see it out? I think we are. We'll make a couple of changes, keep some people from getting unnecessarily injured in these closing few minutes. Have we saved our job? Are the board going to be satisfied with an FA Cup? Corner for Real Madrid. Alisson claims again. He's been claiming all day long. This will persuade him to stay. He wanted to win the Champions League. We're going to win the Champions League. Richard running through, flattened by Eder Militao. He's on a booking. Is he going to be sent off? Are we going to get a penalty? Who knows what's going to happen? It's a penalty to seal things. Is he going to send Militao off as well? It looks like he's about to. He's having some sort of... He's running all over the place. He's going to be sent off. There's 30 seconds left. Militao's gone. Real Madrid down to 10. And it could be 4. Trent steps up. The homegrown boy, the local boy, his first goal of the season. And what a way to do it. Putting the 4th past Real Madrid. Humiliation for Real Madrid in the Champions League final. And of course, Liverpool, the only team really close to them in terms of success historically in this competition. 4-0. What a way to do it. And if that is our final game in charge of Liverpool, you can't really ask for anything better. We're rubbish away from home in the league, but we're very good when it comes to cup competitions. That is our 5th trophy in 2 years at Liverpool. Nuts, absolutely nuts. But we've won the Champions League for the first time in the save. Fantastic stuff. If we can just win the Premier League, then the board would be building a statue for me. Goodness me. Well, there we go. What a situation we now find ourselves in. We have won 4 out of the 5 competitions we were in. The only one the board cared about, we didn't win that one. So, I don't know. I mean, if this was real life, and we probably have saved ourselves by winning that, but if this was real life, there'd be no question. No question. Like, this season, this suspended season that we find ourselves in, actually quite a similar situation potentially. Manchester City have obviously they're not going to win the Premier League. Liverpool are going to win the Premier League, but they've already won the League Cup, they've already won the Community Shield, and they may well win the FA Cup, and they may well win the Champions League. Well, if Pep Guardiola wins all 4 of those trophies, the Man City board are not going to sack him because he doesn't win the Premier League, are they? It's not going to happen. So we'll have to wait and see what the board are going to do about this. We've won the Champions League. It's a quadruple. You love to see it. £16 million for winning that. Medals all over the place. Alisson's happy to stay. The supporters love me. The board, they say they're happy with this. Salvador's on form. Let's just check this out. A C-, stable. Okay, we've saved ourselves. It does make some logical sense. The board have backed off because we've won the Champions League. Loads of money for that one. Fantastic to see that one. And we can, for the first time in a while, breathe. Yeah, there's no meeting with the board yet. Let's get through this press conference and then we'll see what happens. So we're paying quite a lot of money for winning that Champions League. And I'm not sure we're paying Roma $4 million for Alisson and Mohamed Salah, which obviously is a clause as a result of their deals, which is fine except for the fact that Liverpool won the Champions League in the season before the save begins, and Alisson and Mohamed Salah were both in the team, so I'm not sure why we're paying them $4 million again. That doesn't really make any sense. Marko Vujovic getting himself $2 million for winning the Champions League, which was part of one of the things I had to do to keep his wage slightly lower, so good job we get a lot of money for winning it. Right, all kinds of items in the inbox. Overall best 11, and we've certainly had an imprint on that one. I mean, still no Vujovic in the starting lineup. Still not Colin Nicholson. He's not in there either. But the shape is the shape we play. End of season awards. Obviously, Mohamed Salah wins it. Not by an overall majority this time. He's not got control of Parliament with that one, but he's done very well. Of course he has. We know how good he is. Dembele actually getting striker in the team of the season ahead of Nicholson, which is slightly amusing. And that's very interesting as well, is that Max Aarons has got into the right back position ahead of Trent Alexander-Arnold. I'm not sure what they're basing that on, because he's been pretty rubbish every time he's played. But right back is actually a position I'm potentially thinking of improving. Dembele is going to be going, so we do need another striker. And then, right back, maybe another midfielder. Well, I think definitely another midfielder as well, because some other players will probably be leaving. So, striker, midfielder, and right back. They're the 3 positions that I'm probably going to look to get some players in. Maybe not necessarily for the first team, but certainly to help the first team out, because that's kind of where we were lacking in again this season. Rafinha signing of the season, which I'm fully on board with. Vujovic goal of the season and young player of the season as well. Rafinha was the one player I was most concerned about. Was he going to be good enough? Partly because he was the cheapest of the sort of signings to the first 11. Instantly proved me right with the signing, and he's been brilliant this season. He really has. Very good going forwards, very good defensively, exactly what I like in a fullback. And the season review is in the fast score situation of we've won the Champions League, we've won the FA Cup, we've won the League Cup, we've won the Community Shield, but we finished 4th in the Premier League, so much so that according to BBC Radio Merseyside, it was a disappointing campaign. I mean, really, are you kidding me? Right, club vision and board expectations, that presumably means well and truly that we are not going to be sacked. What do they want next season? Do they want to win the Premier League? They don't. They only want us to challenge for it, which is really what it should have been this season. They were asking a bit too much this season. Yeah, okay. I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. And then the players, what are we going to say next? I think we can say we want to win the Premier League next season. I think that's what we want to do. Some of them aren't. Well, I mean, to be honest, these are not players who are necessarily going to be anywhere near the first team next season. So I think I'm honestly going to just say I'm fine with that one. I'm not really bothered if Son Heung-min doesn't think we can win the Premier League. Everyone else is on board with it, and that is fine by me. Champions League dream team: Rafinha, Van Dijk, Foucher, Alisson, Salvador and Paqueta in the starting lineup of that one. Alisson wins goalkeeper of the season in the Champions League as well, and Nicholson wins forward of the season. Well done, boys. And there we go. I mean, we lost quite a lot of money on last season, including broadcasting revenue, which I guess is because we didn't finish as high in the league, but we got to the Champions League final, so logically that should be more, shouldn't it? I don't know. Who knows? Lots of good shirt sellers amongst some of the players we've signed, including Son. I mean, it was worth it to get the money, and if nothing else, the board are going to upgrade the youth facilities, which is going to take a while, but it is good to see. Now, at the moment, no other vacancies are available. Not that we really need to worry about it, because we've not been sacked. Simeone may well be sacked. He's very insecure, but looks like Thomas Tuchel has also been given a stay of execution by PSG. So Madrid, Atletico Madrid, the only top job at the moment that would be particularly interesting to me. And well, now it's irrelevant because we're not going to be dismissed this season. We've got another year at least to see what we can do. Another year at least to get the job done and hopefully win the Premier League. I mean, we've won everything else with them, so let's try and win the Premier League too. We've got when is the Club World Cup? It's not this summer, is it? It's got to be next year. And no, it was last year. We failed to win the Club World Cup, didn't we? I remember that was last year. So at least we don't have to worry about that happening anytime soon. All right, I have offered Virgil van Dijk a new contract. Still quite pricey, but I mean, he's still so good. There's no need to drop him from the first team, really. We've got plenty of good, exciting French young centre-backs to come through and play, so having him around for the experience, if nothing else, is very good. He might not end up starting every game next season. He might end up falling out of favour, and one of the two youngsters we've not been using maybe comes in for him, or maybe we get someone else in the summer, I don't know, but there's no reason to get rid of him. But Son will be leaving, and Moussa Dembele will also definitely be leaving, so a new striker definitely needed. As I say, maybe a new centre-back, probably a new midfielder, and I'm going to look to upgrade right-back as well. I'm not sure that Trent is necessarily did as good as he could have done last season. Needs a bit better competition than Max Aarons. But that, I think, is going to wrap us up for this season, wrap us up for Season 8 of The Save. We have had, overall, a phenomenal season. We've won 4 trophies, just not the one the board wanted and obviously craved more than anything else, because Liverpool, in this reality, have still not won the Premier League. As I record this, they still haven't won it in our reality either, but they may well have done by the time this ends up going up. I don't know how. Who knows what's going to be happening by then. It's the kind of crazy world we live in, isn't it? But overall, very good. And the fact is that we finished 4th, but we were only 5 points off the top. And given how well we did last season as well, surely next year is our year, right? With a few additions, surely we can do it. But if not, then at least we'll give it a good go. And even if next season it ends up being the season where the board finally decide that they want someone else to try and win the Premier League, at least, if nothing else, even if we win nothing next year, we'll have won 5 trophies here on Anfield, and that's pretty good going, really. I think most Liverpool fans will be quite happy with that, even if it's not the absolute one they want. Anyway, we will worry about that next time. Next time we'll be back for the start of Season 9, still here with Liverpool. Let's ready, in the ultimately fruitless words of Steven Gerrard, we go again. We go again. Transfers will hopefully have been made, hopefully some good additions to the squad. We have got the Nations League coming up with France, but I'm not too bothered. Is anyone too bothered by that? I'm going to record it, but I'm not going to do it as an episode, because obviously we've already won the Nations League. We already had an episode where we won the Nations League with France, and I mean, obviously I want to win it again, and I will show you what happens. But I don't think that I really want to do a whole episode just for this. So next episode, you'll find out what happens. You'll find out if we won. I will play some footage from it, I'm sure. But next episode, the main focus will be at the start of the new season, transfers being made. So anyway, overall, pretty good year. I think we have to say that. Whatever happened in the league, pretty good year indeed. Thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed our success today and in this season, kind of. Make sure you subscribe as well so you don't miss the next season as well. Thank you very much for watching so far. Thank you very much if you're subscribed as well. It's been a great adventure and it's not over yet. I will see you next time.